Welcome to the Blueprint of Progress. We're looking at the hierarchy and we're going to start looking at the competence in CrossFit, right? I think the biggest thing is that every rep tells us a story. Every skill we've learned, every breakthrough we've made, every time we've been no-rep, every time we've been stuck in the bottom of a workout or struggled to get through. Everything has always given us the ability to understand why we do what we do, and we train with purpose. And behind every great person is a map, and it's that kind of roadmap that gives us a guide, that brings us purpose. And this is kind of bringing to today's topic, which is going to be the two core frameworks, which is the hierarchy as well as the 4 stages of competence. That's what we're going to be looking at today. CrossFit's hierarchy development is more than just a concept. It's about a compass. It's a lifelong journey that was designed originally by Greg Glassman. And as you can see on the side there, the pyramid outlines the progressive layers that is required for everybody to move through, become fitter, stave off disease, and become healthier. Now, the base of the pyramid is quite simple. It's nutrition. And that means it starts with us fueling right. It's like if nothing else is working the way it should, we need to start there. Are we sleeping enough? Are we recovering enough? Do we have enough energy levels? That's where the part starts. The base is nutrition and sleep. Then we build to the next part, which is the metabolic conditioning. This is where we bring in the cardio. This is your engine capacity. This is the rowing, the running. This is where the intensity lives, but it's also where we start actively thinking about how we move and conceptually see things. So that way when we move into the gymnastic side, it's do we have the awareness on the body weight control? And this is where we think of like pull-ups and handstands. But it's not just pull-ups and handstands. It's also mastery of what our true strength is. And that's the key. Gymnastics, strength, and awareness. It's not just simply throwing myself upside down and doing weird pull-ups. It's actively, do I have the awareness? Do I have the core structure? Do I have the stability and the mobility to do what is required? And as you can see from the next part, we have our weightlifting. And that's all just effectively external load. We've built through the base. We've gone through the second level. We're through the third tier. Now we're into a position where it's like, can we take everything we have? Can we explode? Can we use the mobility that we've gained and that stability to give power? This is where that barbell and the dumbbell really comes to it. And it's how we bring control and stability and push that outcome. When we brought all of that together, now we can see the translation to sport. That's where we see that everything get tested. That's where we see the competing side of things. This is where we see the performance and the kind of playing. And this is where everything is expressed, and that's where it's kind of built to. And this is the kind of whole structure that we're trying to follow here. Now, people don't realize why this is. Too many athletes want to start at the top. They want to start at the sports side. They want to start at the weightlifting. But it's the base that matters the most in order for us to go as far as we can. If your engine's lacking, you will fade. We've seen that over and over. And it's always to remind us that the base of the pyramid is what we need to start first before we build up. And from that position, things start to change. The biggest thing is that without the hierarchy, progress becomes random. It just becomes so simple to just chase complexity. Because, I want complexity before capacity. And that's not what we want. We don't want to guess things. We want structure. And this is why we have scales. This is why we have time caps. And most importantly, why we have stimuluses and the target. It's to ensure that we don't burn out. It's to ensure that the skill and performance grow in sustainable layers. Yeah, it's not flashy. Don't get me wrong. But it's effective. It works. There's no, no, it fucking works. We all know this. You can't train a bad diet. It's not going to happen. We take the step by step and we build it. And that's the point of the hierarchy. Let's talk about actually how we actively grow, personally as well as athletically. And now what I want to bring is a little bit of the psychology side of things, which is the 4 stages of competence. Yeah, this is my favorite part for a lot of psychology. They are unconscious incompetent. Right? It's not just because I like the word incompetent. It's the person who does not know what they don't know. Yeah? So it's like maybe you think that your squat looks fine until someone videos it. We've all been there. We're like, that felt beautiful. And we see it in and we're like, oh crap, I don't want to see that again. That's the unconscious incompetence. That's our level 1. Now we're going to go to level 2, which is conscious incompetence. Now you know what's wrong. You've seen the squat. You saw that you didn't lead with your hips and push your knees forward. You just drove your knees forward and jammed into the base of your hip. Now you know what's wrong. It's frustrating. But this is the stage that is often powerful and transformative because this is where awareness kicks in. And now you go to number 3, which is that conscious competence. And this is now we use the drills. Well, I've drilled that I failed. I've seen that I failed. But now it's more about how you think and how well you can perform. And this is where, if you think about it when it's a CrossFit perspective, this is the point of our scales. Is to bring you to the conscious competence so that we can effectively, from the next part, go into unconscious competence. And this is basically just mastery. When the movement becomes just instinctual. It's when I put my hands on the bar, I know exactly where that bar is going. I don't have to think about it. I know when I'm doing a squat, I know I'm hitting death because I know what it feels like. I know how to initiate it. I know where it's going. You're fast, you're efficient, you perform well, there's no overthinking. The big thing is that we all got to understand that every part along the way, we need to move from 1 to 4. We need to start through the stages, whether there's double unders, whether it's muscle up, or pacing. We need to go from correcting as the coaches to cueing to managing the clumps of the sizes of class so that we can evolve everybody from going unconscious incompetent to unconscious competency. But it's also a part on you. You need to be aware and you need to understand where you are at, and when as soon as you understand where you're at, now can you start leveling up your game. How do these things connect? It's actually quite simple. As you move through the stages of your competency, at every level of the theoretical hierarchy, you can see that you start to change and you start recognizing these things. For instance, like when you start and you begin CrossFit, you can be unconsciously incompetent at nutrition. It could be gymnastics. For a lot of people, it's also pacing of watts. Then as you progress, you develop the skills and awareness at each layer. And so this way you can see that you're climbing the pyramid and the staircase of both simultaneously. And this is why when you look at it, the programming is varied but not random. Because different levels push us at different levels and skills. It'll be challenging, and sometimes the competency and the capacity for us at all angles are going to change, and we need to come down one to go up one. And that's something that as we keep going, you can see that we have a lot of growth because it's earned. It's not aimless. You have to respect the hierarchy, and you have to respect and embrace the learning process for the results to follow. And as you do that, your capacity expands. Your skills will sharpen. You become more of an athlete layer by layer by layer. So the biggest thing I can bring from this is the fact that when you stay committed and you're humble and you keep climbing the competency ladder while effectively ensuring that you're part of the normal hierarchy, you are going to succeed. Stay saucy, and remember, effort is a choice.